our surrender to Him. So what is it anyway? And who in their right mind actually wants to surrender? When you think about what surrender is, it's relenting. It's giving up. It's saying, this is mine, but you can have it. It's saying, I really want to do it, and I really want to do it this way, but let's do it your way instead. Have you ever noticed you've never really heard any great war stories about the guy who surrendered? Because surrendering is losing. It's admitting defeat. It's saying, I give up. Who in their right mind likes surrender? If you look up surrender, you will find words like resignation, abandonment, submission, abdication, capitulation, whatever these words mean anyway. But none of these words seem inspirational or uplifting when we read them. Yet, if you were a follower of Christ, surrender was actually the very first step you took in that relationship. Paul tells us in Ephesians 2 that it's by grace we are saved, not by works. Basically, there is no amount of trying, striving, pining, planning, negotiating, working, or willing it to happen that we can do to gain a right standing before God. Accepting grace literally requires giving up. So on one hand, surrender is very much ingrained in who we are as believers. Yet that doesn't make it easy. Have you ever encountered a situation in which you had no choice but to surrender? When you got that call from the doctor's office with devastating news about you or your spouse or your child's health? When you found out about the drug addiction of a close friend? When your spouse of 20 years decides they're no longer in love and you find yourself in a place you never thought you'd be? Whether these are situations you've experienced personally or the experience of someone you know, how does it make you feel? Defeated? Devastated? Out of control? Powerless? If you're familiar with my story at all, you know that my first few years of marriage were marked with surrender. My husband Martin and I had known each other since high school. We actually met at a Fellowship of Christian Athletes event, which is humorous in and of itself. Martin was a strapping young baseball player, and I was a bass player. Yes, an upright bass player. I was very involved in the symphony at our school, or what Martin's jock friends affectionately called the Dorchestra. We were an unlikely match, and after dating on and off for a number of years, we finally got engaged and married and embarked on what would be an amazing adventure. Yet we had no idea what was in store for us. It started off with Martin experiencing some memory issues and feeling a little more tired than normal. And after months of tests and seeking answers, we finally got a diagnosis. Martin had a brain tumor. It was news that no one really expects to hear about their husband. But for us, it was so early in our marriage, we were shocked. Martin was in such great shape, and for the following months, we began to hear more and more about the surgery that Martin needed. The doctors, as they always do, went through the long list of potential complications with us, explaining that if anything went wrong, Martin could experience complete blindness or even severe brain damage. They even told us that due to the location of the tumor, he could wake up from surgery and have no recollection of his life prior to that moment. It was pretty devastating, considering that my own husband could wake up and not even recognize me. And when that long-awaited day came, Martin was in surgery for a little over 4 hours, and we sat huddled in that waiting room till the doctor came in, saying that the surgery had gone well and invited me to come and meet Martin in the recovery room. And I'll never forget walking in, and as soon as our eyes met, Martin said, with his voice a little foggy from the medication, "Laura Story." I was immediately relieved that he recognized me, but then the very next words out of his mouth were, "What are you doing here?" It was only a matter of moments before I realized that he knew exactly who I was, but had no idea that we were married. And I can't remember exactly the words that I used to inform him that I was there because I was, in fact, his wife. But I'll never forget his response. "We're married?" Yes! I share this story with you because when I think back to those first years of marriage, nothing happened according to our plan.